Yeah, the I suppose the theme of tonight is that no matter what happens, we're going to have work to do. November is going to determine how much work we have to do and who we're working against. In other words, we're picking our opposition in November. We're going to be either protesting for peace in Gaza. Let's just assume Biden changes very little. Let's assume the worst for now. Then we're going to be either protesting for peace in Gaza against somebody who thinks it would look bad to send the National Guard to crack our heads together, or against somebody who thinks it looks great to send in the National Guard to crack our heads together. That's the math we're talking about. I would rather the person in charge of sending in the National Guard to crack heads together, I would rather that person be embarrassed by the idea and try to avoid it. That's Biden. Doesn't mean it wouldn't happen. Just means it would be less likely, and also it would hurt them politically instead of help them politically. But also, we have to be building towards a permanent change. This includes busting actual criminals who try to take away voters' rights. This includes who's going to be in charge of investigating the election tampering Republicans are about to do. If you elect a bunch of local Fawny Willises, people of that mindset, to be prosecutors in your neck of the woods, that means that when Republicans mess around with the elections in your neck of the woods, and you go to your local prosecutor with demands and say, I just elected you and I found out that my vote was almost taken away. I found that I was pulled off of the voter rolls illegally on a cockamamie story. Sorry, brother. That prosecutor will actually have an interest in pleasing you because they will know they are a rarity, a progressive prosecutor, or even a particularly left-leaning prosecutor. They will have an interest in appeasing you. They will feel the pressure. They will do something. The chances go up. You want an example of the Republicans, messing around with elections near you? That last story. Did you hear where it took place? Waterford. For context, it's about 30 minutes from me. It's going to keep happening. It happens every election. Understand, there are a slew of election tampering stories involving Republicans every election. It's not massively reported for two reasons. Number one, it usually, not always, but it usually doesn't work. It usually gets caught. Usually, but not always. Number two, prosecutors are not interested in it. It's difficult, it's expensive, and it annoys people that they are going to try to get to vote for them. Yes, prosecutors are going to try to get Republicans to vote for them because Republicans vote on off-year elections. Republicans vote any chance they get. Republicans vote twice if they can. That we are not going to try to emulate. But Republicans vote for that constantly, and we don't. So that culturally will change. Y'all are changing it now. You guys watch political talk shows for fun. You guys, I'm not concerned about having the energy and the wherewithal to go out and vote. But get your friends. Bring them with you. Make that a habit. Make it a cultural thing. Find a way to make it cool, then inform us dorks how to make it cool, and we will do our best. And I'll keep that sex pot up there to have the kids interested. I don't know what people are into. The point being, make it a cultural thing to vote and sway your prosecutors. Get on your prosecutor's ass. In fact, great time. If you have somebody who's running for office right now, running to be a if you're doing an election for district attorney, for example, you don't know who's going to win yet, but you know who you want to vote for. Make them aware that you're a major supporter of theirs. Be a name that shows up a lot. Be a face that shows up at some of their events. Just go on their website. They'll have a website that even if it's just a Facebook page, it'll announce when their upcoming campaign events are. Find out and show up. Not even because you think one person in the crowd is going to make a difference, or if there even is a crowd. Show up just so they see your mug, and on the chance that they actually make it, because 12 people vote and 7 of them voted for decency. On the chance that that happens, they will remember your face. You will show up, and when you have a demand like, my vote was almost taken away, this happened in my neck of the woods, I expect you to do something about it. There's a much greater chance that they will actually do that. Why? Because they will see the sort of person, yes, literally you, but also who you represent, the sort of person who votes for them. They'll say, that was a supporter I remember from before I got this thing, from when I got nothing. And they say they want me to do this. That's how you get the law to take this seriously. That's how we play this power game. It's effed up that we have this aristocracy that rules us. But we do. It's a game of power, so play it well. Pick your side, but flex your power within your own side. Just like the unions have taught us. Show up good and early for this person. Show up good and early. Make your face known, make your name known. Just comment on their Facebook page. Comment on their whatever, if they allow it. But your support is not blind. Simply understand that you're showing up to be seen by them as well as by the media, who you would theoretically want to be doing stories about how this prosecutor you like has a growing yada 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 crowd of support. So that later it can pay off. Later when you make demands, it's a name they recognize making demands. It's a constituent they know well making demands. These are not popular races. You're not going to be competing with waves of passionate supporters. You're just not. Too often I have found that we view the presidential, not even that. We view the election as the end of our efforts. And I'm not thrilled when people say it's not, but it is true. It's true. I'm not thrilled when people say it's not because it's exhausting. We give so goddamn much. But I also don't want to make it seem like we have to live like this for the rest of our lives. We actually don't. It's true that I think we can't go back to the bad old days of just pretending like nothing matters and being somehow entitled nihilists. Strangest culture we managed to create in America. But we are in a place with this democracy, where the election is one of a few steps that are going to be necessary for restoring order. Step number one, big election coming up. Get as many tools together as we can. The best we absolutely can. Step number two, pressure these motherfuckers. Pressure them to do the things we want done. If I had any era of history to do over again, it would have been the first 2 years of Joe Biden's administration. Strange as that may seem. The first 2 years. When the hurdle was Joe Manchin and Kyrsten Sinema, I would have poured all my efforts into how to blackmail those two, and then that's what I would have done. Now we do a similar job, but across a whole party. How do we put these people in positions they don't want to be in until they do things we want them to do? Or, be ruthless enough to be kind as well. How do we throw them bones in ways that work to our favor? That's the kind of stuff we have to be thinking about. But understand that the things we want are the things America has been corrupted to fight against. We want fairness. We want decent pay for the American worker. We want not an oligarchy. We want an end to the pointless bloodshed around the world. These are things that American parasites have ensured America is all about perpetuating. So we are going to have to do additional work. That means we're going to have to pick our tools and then use those tools to dismantle those things about our government which we do not like. Between now and then, in all honesty, there are matters which cannot wait for November to be solved. For example, an ongoing genocide. We will work on these things with the greater game plan in mind. I try that again. We will work on these things with the greater game plan in mind. But do understand that for a progressive, the fight we are looking at now will come in waves. The first one will be leading to November. After that, it will be leading to 2028. And after that, hopefully, we are looking at an entirely different political system. One in which there are hopefully not two parties, or at the very least, there are two better parties. One in which it is the cultural norm for people who are attacking voting rights to be prosecuted. We will have to do the difficult work of building a better nation for the next generation. That is, in one way or another, every generation's job. And the shape of ours has been made extraordinarily clear. Defeat the oligarchs. I think we can do it. As a matter of fact, I think we will do it. And I look forward to fighting side by side with you.